Hi, messes. Welcome back to She's Speaking. If you didn't know, I'm covering Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Season 2, episode by episode. And we got a juicy one, episode 9 today. I don't have much of a preamble because this episode speaks for itself. This is the New Orleans trip. But before I get started, make sure you are subscribed, following the show. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, say hi. Let's do it. All right, kind of a boring way to start this episode, but Jessie has to get part of her thyroid removed. Does anyone else have this? I know I'm not alone on this. As soon as you hear someone has a medical issue, I immediately am like, do I have that issue? Do I need to go get that checked? So I was in a mirror looking at my thyroid, Googling, checking, being like, okay, I think I'm good. I also just went to the doctor and got a full check of everything. I got they touched the thyroid, they did the whole thing and nothing happened. But I still am like, you never know. Maybe since I left the doctor 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, who knows? But she has to get her thyroid or part of her thyroid removed to get tested. But so just keeping an eye on that. All right, they're all going to New Orleans in spite of all the drama, but then Taylor doesn't even go on the trip. Okay, but Demi, this is the start of Demi taking it to a place. Demi straight up says, I'm relieved because now I don't have to walk on eggshells. And she's looking around like, am I right, ladies? Am I right? And they're like, no, that's not how I would have felt. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, sure. All right. Yeah, Demi, you're kind of like, not picking up on the fact that you're the only one who's on this whole fuck Taylor, she's the worst train. Anywho's, they get to their mansion and the chef hooked them up. The food display had me salivating. But while they're sitting and eating, Jen sends them a video message. This is what Jen says in her message. As you guys probably know, I'm pregnant and the first trimester has been absolute hell. I've been in some of the darkest places of my life. I'm focusing on my physical health, but also my mental health in order to protect this baby. I've been hurting, and because of that, I think I've maybe hurt some of you, and I'm really sorry. Anyways, love you guys. Hope to talk to you soon. Somehow, Demi turns that into manipulative. Layla, who had been outspoken about Jen, she goes, for me, as someone that's dealt with mental health issues, I feel like that kind of trumps everything else, in my opinion, And and then she looks at Demi like, I know what she's done. It's not discrediting what she's done to people in this room because it's not okay. But I think at the end of the day, that takes precedence. And Miranda goes, yeah, well, she mentioned to me that she feels really bad about the way she treated Jessie. And I want to apologize to her formally. And Jessie's like, oh, yeah, man, I'm open to talking to her for sure. But I thought it was funny that she hadn't mentioned Demi, but she mentioned Jessie. And then now Demi's even more pissed. Demi's like, are you fucking serious? And Jessie's like, yeah, honestly, even if she just says I was going through a shitty time, I did shitty things, that's good enough for me. Just tell me why and let's just hope it doesn't happen again. Demi's like, I swear to God. So she goes, I have a hard time with someone who's sitting there being like, I've been working on myself. I've been coming so far. They're like, whoa. I don't think anyone expected her to take that route. How is Jen's message being twisted by you right now? So although Macy does give us a little context of the span of time. She goes, things change though, in a week and a half. I'm like, wow, it has only been a week and a half. It has felt like it's been 2 months. But so in a week and a half, it's been 1 week and a half. That's a couple days. Okay. Demi's like, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't totally buy it. And her confessional, this is Demi's confessional. First of all, crying videos will never not be weird to me. Girl, I think it's so strange to just film yourself crying. And I think it's a little bit manipulative and cowardly. I understand you're going through a hard time. I know you're mentally struggling, but I think also follow it up with some text to the people you have real issues with. And I just don't think Jen is capable, to be honest. Girl, you're I can't help you at all, Demi. Like this, you're saying all the words that you should not be saying. Like, I understand she's going through a hard time, but like, text the people that you should be texting. How about that? It feels really much. It feels like like Demi is scared that Jen is going to start being believed, and all the anger that Demi kind of like spurred up within those certain people that she had following her. They're like, I'm going to get over it. She's like, wait, whoa, whoa, hold on. Nope, because then you might believe what she says about Vanderpump Villa. And we'll get to Marciano in episode 10 later. But like her to be like, oh, it's so weird to film yourself crying. Like, what is that? Like, she's leaving you guys a video. Oh God, to me. And she goes, it does make me hesitant to tell her anything though, because it's a pattern of like digging up the past. And Macy goes, I feel like at this rate, I'm hesitant to tell anyone in this group anything. I don't know, just seeing the Taylor situation and you'll take anything into future arguments, that makes me not want to be vulnerable. And Demi goes, let's not demonize the whole group because there are a lot of valuable friendships here. Just don't demonize the whole group. Well, I think she's actually directing it at you specifically, if anything. Okay? I think that that's kind of who she's talking about is just you. She's like, don't demonize the whole group, though, okay? No, just you, Demi. All right, so they got to break up this mood. They go to a burlesque show. This fucking show could not have, it was full nude, splits and slits, and the pussy joint. Oh, Layla. I have to, the part that was so funny about it, because I was also like, no, what are you doing? It was in her pussy. Oh my God. But when they got back on the bus or the van, that was funny. Just her being like, what have I done? Cut it out. And then I think Michaela goes, she could have had a yeast infection. Ah! That's like a good girls trip thing. Like they don't get drunk. Or, if they do, they don't get like wasted. So a lot of the time that like embarrassment and stuff only comes when you're wasted doing things you're embarrassed about. And I'm used to that on reality television, so I would like more of that from this group. But I guess it is kind of proving that you don't need to get wasted on a television show in order to be good reality television, because these women are literally never wasted. All right. Meanwhile, all this is happening. Taylor stayed back and she hangs out with her mom and her sister. Leanne is the problem. Leanne has literally created Taylor to be who she is. I mean, it's good TV, but Leanne is also trying to be TV, right? Leanne is very much vying for screen time. So she's like, you created Mom Talk. You've been the best friend to them. Taylor's like, I mean, I could have been a better friend. But she also is like, don't say the whole, I am the one who created Mom Talk, because they all get mad. But then they get into more Dakota talk in this scene. And I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I don't care anymore. Thank you very much. Bye. Meanwhile, back in New Orleans. So they're all in their jammies, which I love. And Layla, because she's like feeling this out, right? She asks to me, do you think you'll ever be friends with Taylor again? Obviously, it's a hard pass. But then they ask, what about Whitney? And Demi's like, we're repairing. Macy is like, since when? Because you were so firm. She doesn't say this to her face, which she should have. But she says Demi was so firm about everyone cutting Whitney off. And Demi goes, I was talking to her the other day about just the whole Taylor situation. And she was like, no, I totally see what you're saying. Taylor doesn't know how to be a good friend. They're like, oh, got it. Macy goes, well, do you feel like you're being chummy with her because she's going against Taylor? And it's almost like an ally in that situation? Yes, literally that. Here's what Demi says. Demi goes, I'm not commiserating over something just because it's Taylor. It's like we feel this way mutually because I think we all should to a degree. So you are getting an ally. You basically just defined it. And it's like, and by the way, guys, we should all just be on this team. Jesse goes, do you guys ever think about what Taylor would be like if she had never met Dakota? I don't know why that's funny to me. That's probably why she feels so erratic all the time, Jessie says. To which Demi says, hasn't she always been that way, though? And like toxic? Ah, they're like, no, what are. Macy is like, I think if she had taken the time to heal, maybe not dated anyone. And Demi goes, I think she just chases chaos. And you could tell they're like, we're trying to not take it. Like, are you not picking up on what we're saying here? We're all basically saying we like Taylor and you're not getting it. And she just keeps going like, exactly, right? Because we hate her. And they're like, no, that's not what happens. All right, so they go to bed. They're like, we'll just leave it at that, whatever. Next day is the psychotic producer-planned pregnancy test roulette. What? Okay. It had to have been a producer. Layla caught a lot of shit for this. I saw a bunch of TikToks of people being like, she's the real villain for making them do this. I'm like, you think that Layla was really late on her period? Because this is what I was thinking about. If I was Layla, like I'm putting myself in Layla's shoes and I really was late and I didn't know if I was pregnant, why would I want to take this pregnancy? Why would I want to do this pregnancy test roulette thing in this group and risk it turning out someone's pregnant? And like, I don't know if that's my test or not because they put it in anonymously. Where they take the test and they like just put it in the thing and they look like no one looks at their results, right? That's what it is. And so what if you didn't know? What if you were like, I don't know if I'm pregnant. And then you do this pregnancy roulette and it's like positive. Someone's pregnant. It's like, is that me? Am I the one who's pregnant? It wouldn't make any sense if you were genuinely concerned about if you were pregnant or not to take a test with a bunch of women and have it possibly come up positive. And then it's like, well, is it me? No, it was a producer knowing that Macy and Michaela were not telling anyone that they were pregnant. All right. And they had to have, we've already discussed it, I think, Demi's fertility issues and fertility struggles. So they decide to traumatize Demi, which, look, I don't like Demi either, but whoa. And like even just the thought of her, when they say pregnancy test, she's like, oh my God, like even just, she starts sweating. She's like, even just thinking about a pregnancy test makes me want to cry. And they're like, perfect. Because the producers are set up in some video village somewhere watching what the camera guys are getting. And they're like, this is great. This is going to be awesome. And they know that Macy and Michaela, rightfully so, aren't telling anyone. They're allowed to not tell anyone. But the only people who know everyone's deal is the producers. And I also didn't get why, in my head, I'm like, couldn't they just run it underwater? And then the test would say like not pregnant or maybe inconclusive. I don't remember if that's a thing, like if it has to respond to urine or but I was like, don't really take it then for Michaela and Macy because I didn't want them to be in that position. And then because Demi is in this position of wanting a pregnancy so bad, she looks at the pregnancy test and of course she gets a positive. Right after Michaela. First, Michaela gets one, and Michaela is like totally playing along. She's like, oh, who's pregnant? But then Demi, of course, she gets the other positive one. And she sobs. And then it's like, now there's this pressure. Anyone who is pregnant, speak up, because this is horrible, horrible to do to Demi. But it's a horrible position to put them in. I mean, why would Macy and Michaela, want to announce it like this now? What did you guys really think it through that they would be like, okay, it's me, and they'd be like, yay, but what about me? Lord almighty. All right. Whenever I would say things like, oh, I can't go do that activity because my knees will hurt, my feet will hurt, my hips, Someone inevitably says, you just got to find the right shoes. And I'd be like, what shoes? Tell me. And I tried all of the suggestions and would still end up struggling in the same amount of pain until Vionic sponsored this podcast and changed my life with the shoes. Vionic shoes revolutionized medical orthotics. But see, when I say that, don't you immediately think of the ugliest shoe? Wrong. The shoes are chic. I have the Uptown Willa, which is part sneaker, part moccasin, very streamlined. I have the Uptown Loafer, which is part loafer, part sneaker. Oh, so cute. And my babies, the Monarch sneaker with the leopard print detail. Oh my God, I love those shoes so much. But these shoes legit have changed the way I can walk around and move in this world. For anyone who's had chronic pain in their body, you can relate when activities get suggested and you're like, I don't know if I can handle all that walking. Enter Vionic shoes. Changed the game. Listen to me. Go to vionicshoes.com and use code SheSpeaks at checkout for 15% off your entire order. When you log into your account, one-time use only. Vionic shoes are wearable well-being for your feet. So back in their rooms, Macy tells Michaela, like, I'm pregnant too. And now they're crying and they're hugging because Macy already knew Michaela was pregnant because Michaela had told her prior to coming on this trip. So now they get to cry and be like, yay, we're pregnant together. Meanwhile, Demi is in there crying with Jesse about how no one seems to care about my stuff and how I care so much about everyone else, LOL. But no one seems to care when it's my things. But then here's what's interesting. Michaela and Macy come in to like check on Demi, and Jesse goes, well, congrats. I mean, it's you two, right? How did she know? Was it like, how would she know that? That was interesting. And it's like, did producers say we're going to get the two women in? I don't know. I don't know how that was interesting that she knew when they walked in. Anyway, that was a clusterfuck. All right, the ladies go sightseeing, and they go to Cafe Du Monde for the beignets. That's where they went on Potomac, right? That's like where everyone kind of goes. A beignet looked good. But while they're in the French Marquette, Jesse tries to talk to Demi about the whole Jay-Z hair thing. Demi denies saying that Jesse and Jay-Z were bad at hair, but she's not very convincing. She's kind of like, well, I just didn't want you to think that I did that because that's not what I would have done because I didn't do that. And then like I would have said, I don't know about whatever. And Jesse's upset because she's like, I do everyone's hair all the time and no one seems to appreciate it. And Demi says, I never said if you go to Jay-Z, you'll cry. But when did that happen? That maybe was cut out, like we didn't get that, but who said that? Did I miss it? Did Taylor say to Jesse, she said if you go to Jesse, we would cry? Like, did I miss that part? I might have tuned it out, but like when she said that, I was like, are you saying things that maybe even Jesse doesn't know? Like, Jesse's like, when did you say that? She's like, did I say you were bad at hair and it would make someone cry? No. Well, I didn't even think you did. Well, I'm saying I didn't. Saying that didn't happen. All right. Okay. There's no resolution. Jesse's not buying what Demi's selling, but it's like Demi has that tone of like, got it? Cool, right? Like I totally resolved this, right? Cool. But back in the house, they talk about being married and sealed and divorced and all of those like Mormon things. And Layla and Kayla have not been through the temple, but Layla says, if I marry Cam, I probably will. For him. And Demi goes, for him? Uh-oh, I don't like that. And that's Layla's like, now I'm fucking done. Even though it's funny, even though like you should not do that for Cam, and knowing now that Cam was just looking for screen time, yeah, that was a bad plan. However, she's done now. I'm so sick of her judgment. Okay. All right, well, they go out that night they look like a bunch of cool witches. They look awesome. I love the slow-mo walks they do. I want to do a slow-mo walk. I need to do that with some friends. I need to be like, guys, we're going to try a slow-mo walk and just see if it's as cool as it feels. Because it's not cool. When you see something in slow-mo, it's awesome. But when you watch someone filming it, it's like, oh, it's just normal speed. We're walking. That's it. All right, Demi is throwing a Christmas party, and Jesse's like, is everyone invited? Meaning Taylor. And Demi, once again, has the tone of like, everyone already agrees with her. So she's kind of going like, am I right? Am I right? So she's like, Brett and I are both equally unhappy with her. And I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts on if everyone feels like Taylor deserves to be here. And if she puts in the effort and the work and she's a good representation of what Mom Talk was originally meant to be, where's everyone's head at with that? And they're like, not there. And this is what Demi's confessional is. I wrote a lot of her dialogue out because I just thought she kept being bolder and bolder. She goes, Taylor being a part of Mom Talk is affecting us on a negative level, and I'm not willing to have someone in the group that's going to jeopardize the health of my business. And tonight, I really want people to be like, we understand where you're coming from. Well, get ready, girl, because they're not about to do that. Jesse is like, well, what am I going to do? Hold a grudge forever against Taylor? This is just over the CMA's thing. Like, we've moved on. Move on. Demi goes, you take it how you will, but as your friend, that wasn't an apology. At that Saints and Sinners party, what she should have done is literally come in and say, I fucked up. She came in there, she threw me under the bus, and then you're going to remain the leader of Mom Talk? Like, for what? Oh, yeah. The leader of Mom Talk isn't real. It's not like Taylor's putting this on a resume. Taylor's not going like leader of Mom Talk. And then eventually one day it'll be like co-leader of Mom Talk or president. They should actually have they should be fully political. There should be a president, a vice president, a secretary. Someone should be taking minutes for the meetings that they have. All right. Well, Macy then comes in with some logic and she goes, well, because she started it. And Demi goes, to see what she's capable of doing online to her friends and to people who have only loved and supported and been there for her is very problematic. And like, it hurts the group as a whole. Right, guys? Right? And Jesse's like, the CMA post is kind of maybe like the last shot. Like, if she's apologized and if she does it again, then we can, go from there and be like, see, you said you wouldn't do it again. But like, Demi goes, how many chances do you give someone before you go, you're literally a psychotic child? Whoa. Well, okay. Why are you, all right. She goes, it's toxic as hell. And for me, as of now, if Taylor's in, I'm out. Oh, Michaela goes, would that be fair for me to do, though? Like with the Whitney situation, if I was like, well, if Whitney's in, I'm out. And Demi goes, but Whitney's life doesn't take over the group. Girl, do you not remember last year what you said? She goes, Taylor is so self-centered and so selfish. I bet we could find examples of Demi saying this exact thing about Whitney last season. We could find her saying exactly that about Whitney. Demi goes, like, we've had Whitney here this weekend, and it's been great. Okay. All right. Michaela's like, all right, no. If Taylor was here, it would not have been bad for me. So I could take that down. Demi goes, the level of offense matters. And to me, I think Taylor is more of a liability in this situation, given the fact she is the face. She's like, and if she was not here, I would be the face. And I deserve to be the face of Mom Talk. Demi says so much. She goes, and it's not that I need the spotlight, but it's like, is this a group of women empowering each other and taking the turns with the spotlight? Please, bitch, you're the one who's counting everyone's money. Okay. Or is this the Taylor show? Bitter. Taylor isn't even on this fucking trip, girl. Taylor isn't even on this trip. Alrighty. She goes, it affects us when we do events and who gets the opportunities and who gets the interviews and stuff like that. Exactly. That's why she asked Layla, how much you making on that job? Because it's with Taylor and I want to clock how much Taylor is getting. Because if Taylor wasn't there, I would probably be there with Layla and I would be getting that job. That's what she was thinking. And now she's like, so it affects us with like opportunity. And then she goes, and for me, it's like, why are we putting this person on a pedestal? Why are we giving this person opportunities? Bitch. She's the only reason you have a show. Yes, you've all participated now, but like what you're doing is wild to me. She's the one who put her whole life out there, got producers interested, had them running around Utah trying to find people to be on this show and have it work as a group. And now you think that Taylor should not get opportunities anymore from this? What? Layla goes, some opportunities we have are literally because of her, you know? That's fine. This is to me. That's fine, but I've learned too much about her now to continue riding the clout. Like if this is part friendship, part business, if this were a normal business, she'd be gone. How? Like, first of all, this isn't a normal business. So that's the first thing is that if this were a normal business, none of this would be happening. I don't even know what you mean by normal business, but why would she be gone? What did she do? She's given you guys content for a couple episodes with that CMA post, hasn't she? What do you think you're doing here, darling? But then Macy comes in with some facts. She goes, well, the situation with you and Jesse, you weren't supporting her business, but she's still fine with that, right? Demi goes, that's different. We're all a part of the same business. I'm not a part of Jesse's business. What? I know, but you're her best friend. Demi goes, I wasn't her best friend at the time. Oh, that's how it works. She's like, okay, now you're my best friend, but now we're in a fight. We're not my best friend. And now we're back to being best friends. And now, no, we're not best friends. Girl. Demi's confessional is a mess. She goes, I'm so frustrated right now. It's like, are we going to do what's right, girls? What is mom talk if it's not standing on business, standing on what's right, and creating an environment that's healthy and conducive to succeed? Really? That's what mom talk is? She has lost the plot. She has deemed herself the leader, but she is not worthy of the title, honey. All right. But oh my God, like the finale. Taylor's like, I might have taken that New Orleans trip off, but don't worry, I'm coming back. And it's going to be good. All right, well, that's next time. We'll get into episode 10. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you. Means it. See you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You can also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.